Let's pause here because if we're serious about healing individually and as a society, we do need a framework that helps us understand where healing must happen. And here's one way to think about it. Healing not as a linear process, but as a spiral with four interlinked levels: intrapersonal, interpersonal, communal, and structural. The first one, intrapersonal, focuses on healing within the self. So this is where we focus on safety, on dignity, on ancestral connection, on individual purpose. And some of these practices of healing can include journaling. This is where therapy does help, breathwork, and those self-healing 101 rituals that we looked into in episode 5. Interpersonal at level 2. The focus here is then on healing in relationships. The key needs include trust, learning how to apply boundaries, and effective communication. Some of these practices can include forgiveness, family or grief circles, and some coaching and mentoring in groups. Level 3 is communal. The focus is on healing the community and the culture. It needs shared narratives, restoration of dignity, and collective pride. And some of these practices of healing here can include cultural revitalization, local projects, storytelling. And we've just started season 2 of Shaga Ilembe. And there's something very deep and cultural, even spiritual, when you just notice the energy around the re-storytelling of the Zulu nation and how it was formed, a story that's told primarily by South Africans, for South Africans, which was a different story altogether when the story was told from the narrative of the colonizer. So this is a great example of the power of storytelling and how it can have a healing effect at a communal level. Now imagine if we did that for different kinds of focus areas and tribes and cultural diversity that truly celebrates the Rainbow Nation as a larger part that's made out of very beautiful parts, as opposed to just this broad stroke of a Rainbow Nation that was probably forced onto us when we weren't ready and didn't fully realize what that meant. We realized the Rainbow Nation in an ongoing journey of healing and repair and reintegration. Which brings us to the last level of healing, which is the structural level, where the focus here is through justice and systems. Some of the key needs psychologically at this level is land, is equity, is recognition at all levels of leadership. And this is why practices such as reparation, land reform, policy change are important. But of course, as we have just unpacked these 4 levels of healing, we can also note that we can have beautiful policies and changes at a structural level. But if that is not embodied at an individual intrapersonal level within myself, if I don't believe in some of these policies truly, then we have a problem. We're not truly and fully healing. If we can have a beautiful policy uh, around an equal South Africa, but interpersonally we are struggling to forgive, we are struggling to trust each other, that's also not a powerful and collective, holistic way to heal. And when we just unpack healing at all of these levels, we see just how important all of these are for us to feel whole, for us to feel well, and for us to feel human again. Think of it like a house with 4 rooms. If the room of the self is full of shame, if the room of your relationship is full of violence, if your community room is abandoned and your country systems are cracked, the whole house is actually unlivable.